Welcome, Melissa.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Another Philly rock goddess, so it's great to have you here. Please tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I'm Melissa Moore. I am the singer and guitarist of the band Sonja. I am the guitarist of the band CrossSpitter. I go by the name Donna Violence in that band. And I also have a new band called Lezu, which is about to be unleashed at some
Ooh,
point soon.
ooh, is this like an announcement episode? Is
I
this?
mean, you could look at it that way.
I like,
Yeah.
I like it fancy. So, yeah. What do you do outside of music as well?
Um, I focus a lot on music, three bands is a lot of energy. I work a 9 to 5 and I hustle around that too because that's what it takes to exist in the modern world, I guess, and to be able to have the ability to create
Mm,
essentially. So it's just like running around like crazy all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be. It's like that is a lot. Three bands. It's hard to, get one band to, move it, but but
Yeah.
three is definitely a lot. And also with working. It's
Which is why like right now the three bands I have, it's all three pieces
mm,
because it's just even I
uh,
mean luckily I have great people to coordinate, but I mean I can't imagine bands that have, just 6 piece, 5 piece bands. Like, how do they do it? It's just a lot.
yeah. It takes a lot to get the music out there. I think that um that's something that uh musicians really appreciate when fans understand like how much you have to put in time, what you got to like carve out of your life to make room for it, and financially the investment and everything. It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So when did you first realize that you loved rock and metal music and you wanted to create more of it?
Um, I really got into it when I was about 12 years old. That's like when middle school started. Like, I tried to play guitar when I was younger, like 10, and I didn't like it. I had a guitar teacher try to show me, like, here's how you read music, which is terrible for someone that age. But then I was getting into stuff like Nirvana and Metallica and, Pantera and things like that. And it just immediately became an all-consuming obsession, like right away by age 12. Like, I've never looked back since that point at all, which is cool. And I played guitar, I did chores and worked around the neighborhood to get money to buy my first guitar. And like, I just, that guitar, and it's just, I've never not been playing it, or not that guitar particularly, but guitar in general.
Um, yeah, Sonia is really fun to listen to me because I like it's that there's like dance elements and there's also the like early 2000s almost like emo sound, like
Ooh, okay.
Emery. Yeah, and then it also reminds me of a couple of like Canadian Naughton bands like Cauldron. Um, but yeah, and so I was listening to it. I always like to do like a deep dive on people's music before the
Cool.
interview. And I was like, gosh, it reminds me of what? And then I realized it was Emery, and it unlocked like teenage memories. And also, I like was googling to try to remember what it reminded me of. And when the Emery picture came up, I was like, why does that guy look so familiar? And I realized that I had gone on this camping trip in Seattle, and I had to like. I ended up having to share a tent with somebody, and I just realized it was the guy from Emery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so weird. Anyway, core memory unlocked. All right.
Cool, cool.
If
I
you're,
don't I actually don't know what that band sounds like. I don't know if I'm familiar with it.
it's just one of those bands that's kind of like um, it just there's something it. I'm not sure what else to compare it to. It's like post-hardcore, and it's just like that was the soundtrack to my teenage years. Like my best friend in high school loved post-hardcore and like Paramore and Flyleaf and stuff like that. So we listen to it in our car all the time. So for me, it has like a nostalgic sound. Sonia has a nostalgic sound.
Cool, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
like, yeah, like, for like the dancey stuff, that kind of just happened. I mean, we always wanted it to be like that. We always like wanted to have like a rhythm, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we listened to just a lot of, really a lot of like gothy stuff that has like that element to it. But I would describe it as like, the Kiss song "I Was Made for Loving You" kind of rhythm. Like that's a description of like how we have that like kind of dancey thing, I would say.
Yeah, totally. It does have a disco touch. And it also has the vocal melodies are like almost pop, like Jennifer Rush, if you're familiar with her, just like 80s pop rock vocal melodies. It's really good. I love listening
Cool.
to it.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
So if your music were a movie soundtrack, what would the movie be about? You can do all three bands if you want to.
So I think with Sonja, I mean, even when we did the photo shoot for our album, we only have one album. When we did the photo shoot, it's like, how are we going to approach this? And it's like, let's try to make something that feels like kind of like Pulp Fiction or something like that. So like that was kind of an energy that we sort of loosely like had a guiding thing for like just doing like the photo for the album cover. It's not exactly like that, but I'm like thinking in those terms where it's like kind of like there's like danger and like murder and like illicit like acts and like just like a story kind of thing. I'd say probably that kind of movie, even though um I recently watched it on a plane flying back from tour and I was like, this movie's not that great. Like I mean, it's like I remember liking it before, and it's like I guess there was an aesthetic about it, but it's like I don't know. Like Quentin Tarantino movies are a little. He just like focuses on feet. He just likes having feet in his movies. That's what it seems like.
That
But
is true.
yeah, it's very common. It's across the board. But I do think like that's like something that's like a little like that was kind of the tip that we were on when we did it first. So I would say like something like that, where there's like it would be modern. It would like take place probably within the past 70 years. Like it wouldn't be like a fantasy thing or anything like that. And then there would be crime in it for sure and drama.
Okay. Sounds good. And what about Cross Splitter?
CrossSpitter, that would definitely be some sort of horror movie. I mean, that band's concept is extreme anti-Christianity. So that would be definitely like in the theme of possibly like a horror movie where with like a corrupt church element and possibly like a supernatural element too, for sure.
Love it.
Hmm.
And then what about the new band?
Lezu. I guess if we had a movie with that, that's where we could kind of get into some like medieval types of energy as well too. Like there's a lot of like folklore, dark fantasy energy with that one. So probably like a dark fantasy adventure type of thing would work. It's like kind of black metal. So
Nice. Love the variation.
yeah.
So what have you discovered about yourself in moments when you had to make difficult sacrifices for your art?
Oh, I've always made the difficult sacrifice for art. Like that's one of the defining things about my life. Since that time when I was 12 years old and got my guitar, I've always sacrificed for art, like whatever it is. Like whether it's anything like money, jobs, relationships, well-being, anything whatsoever. Like it's always been the top priority, like completely. Um, until at one point in life, I was like, okay, like I need to like take some personal time to back away from things a little bit. Um, because I was, just so focused on music, I didn't like tend to myself really. And that can catch up with you, or that does catch up with you. So taking that time to recreate who I was and then come back to music was very necessary.
Hmm.
That's the only time I've ever not just trucked forward with music in my entire life.
Hmm.
Um, Everything, like no matter what, it's almost like I just exist to create to do music. So it's sort of like that's the thing I know about myself is that I'm seemingly willing to make almost any sacrifice for the sake of the music, which is kind of crazy. Like, is that a good life? I don't know, but it's like that is what I do. Like, that's what it's about for me, I guess, you know?
Yeah, that's a commitment. And um like as you've been trucking through it, do you were there anything like any points where you discovered something? Like for me, like I kind of found that if I don't have a deadline, that's not good for me. I need pressure. That's like a, for
I
example.
mean, yeah, I mean, I think over time you definitely like learn major things as you're if you're so hyper focused on what you're doing for sure. Like so it's like, like I think the things that you value in music sort of change as well too. Like for me, I'm past the point of caring from a guitar standpoint at least about improving myself as a guitarist. Like I'm like, this is me as a guitarist. It's about
Hmm.
expression at this point. For a lot
Hmm.
of times, like, oh, I want to get better, I want to get faster, I want to do crazier stuff. Like
Hmm.
nobody can uppick like this. Let me try to do it like that if I can. And that was, that was cool to do that because I worked on it and worked on techniques and stuff like that. But now I don't really care about that. Like, in fact, I wouldn't really. Sure, I'd like to I challenge myself vocally. That's like a different world for me, but that's like a whole new thing because I always played guitar my whole life and now I'm a singer, and that's very new to me. Um, that's something there. I guess, oh, another thing is earlier days, I just had my own bands writing my own music or collaborating with my friends. And then once I started joining other bands that were already existing, it's kind of like you're learning someone else's material.
Hmm.
And I actually did enjoy that. Like it was
Hmm.
enjoyable to me. It's just kind of like, okay, like there's a part of the brain I'm not using, but like I still am being creative with someone else's music. It's sort of like, how am I expressing this like kind of template that's in front of me? Like I still like you can still do it. It's almost like you can play a simple guitar part or drum beat. It's super simple, but the way that you play it is gonna
Hmm.
sound like you. And like it made me think or feel in like a different nuance, I think, to play other people's music. And I used to teach guitar as well too. And I would teach to kids that would come in and want to learn whatever songs they wanted, and I would encourage that. So songs that I would of bands that I didn't like or music that I didn't even like, I'm like, yeah, of course, non-judgmentally, I'm going to learn it, teach it to you. Playing that kind of stuff actually, I feel like made me a better guitar player.
Hmm.
Like playing, like I always hated a band like Green Day when I was a younger kid because I'm like, oh, this is like rock that's popular and it's pulling people away from like listening to like Metallica. Why are
Hmm.
they doing this? But then having going through the songs, I'm like, oh, the ultra simplicity. There's like kind of like a care in the way that these three power chords are arranged and done. Like I kind of see what's happening here. So I think playing stuff outside of my own world was helpful too. First time I ever heard, I mean, everyone says that that's good. I think the first time I ever saw that was like when I was super young and like probably like 14, I read like a Metallica book and Kirk Hammett said like something like to get better as a guitar player, like you have to play stuff that like is not your style of music because that's just going to make your brain think differently.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, totally. It's really cool. Makes me think of a couple things. Makes me think of like Janis Joplin's cover of Etta James's Piece of My Heart, and like both are good, but it is really interesting to see like what people do when they're working with the same music and how
Hmm.
different that can
Hmm.
be. And it also makes me think in a metaphor for art, like I'll get commissions for things that are like I don't know, I'm going to fulfill the commission. Like it's not always exactly like what I would do if I was just like making stuff for myself. But you definitely learn from doing that. Always copying the masters or Green Day. Um,
Yeah. I mean, let's be fair though. Like, we can talk trash on them and we should, but like Green Day, but like also like what they did in terms of like a pop rock thing, like they did it with like success. Like
hmm?
when I say success, I'm not talking about like sales. I'm talking about like it does get stuck in your head, and it did like get stuck in a lot of people's head. Like it tapped into something for a lot of people, even though it's like corporate whatever. Like it's like, all right, I see what they're doing there, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so a vision board. If you could have any three pieces of band memorabilia of all time, what would you like to have?
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
All right, I just want to
Ah.
blow your mind and tell you that one time somebody said a certain musician's like mustache in like a jar and just like go as wild as you want with this.
Whoa, okay, cool. Let me say I'll take one of the Harleys that Manowar rode in like the Warriors of the World video or what on no, Louder Than Hell. On the album Louder Than Hell, there was a music video where Manowar's riding Harleys. I'll take one of those.
Hmm.
Or, I'll take any Harley that any like kick-ass band has used on stage. I'll take one of I don't have a I've never ridden a motorcycle. I really want to. Um, let's see. I'll take King Diamond's microphone phone thing. Or actually, since my name's Melissa, maybe I'll take the original Melissa skull that he used back in the old days. If I could
Hmm.
ever get my hands on that, that'd be pretty rad. And then I don't know. See, I'm not a big collector. I don't really collect stuff. So what would that third piece be? Let's go with I mean like maybe Hendrix's burned guitar, just because I
Yeah, that'd
just
be
think
cool.
he's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay. If you could pick bands for the lineup of a dream festival, any size that you want, what bands would be on this dream festival? And where would this festival take place?
Let's definitely do it in Philly because, we travel all the time. Let's just keep it simple for
Hmm.
ourselves. I don't know what venue, but okay,
Maybe Doom, right? They're doing shows
sure.
there,
Yeah,
brand
yeah.
new.
Well, okay, let's get Hendrix back. Let's do Nirvana. Let's do I don't know if we'll do Master of Puppets era Metallica or I like Black Album era Metallica. Maybe both. We'll do 2 nights, 2 sets for that. We'll do Iron Maiden Power Slave tour. We'll do King Diamond, Manowar, 1984 Venom. Um, let's also get actually two things that I really want to see. Sonja is super lucky that we're playing this festival, Fire in the Mountains Festival in Montana, and two
Mm.
sets are happening that I'm very excited about there. One is Blood Incantations doing Time Wave Zero, which I love that ambient album that they've done, and Old Man's Child is doing their US debut, and I it's one of to me Old Man's Child is one of the top two riff bands in black metal, the other being Dissection.
Hmm.
So that'll be awesome to see them, and I'm going to see them, so I'm very excited. Um, I guess okay. On that note, let's do Storm of the Light's Bane era Dissection. Uh, let's do Udo era Accept. Let's
Mhm.
do Danzig playing Danzig 1 through 4 with the original lineup, like songs from any of those albums. Let's also include, did I say Scorpions with Uli John Roth? Let's do that, definitely. Um, hmm. I mean,
Don't
these
forget.
are just, oh,
Oh, make sure you do some good necromancy. Pull it all out.
yeah. I mean, we got Hendrix, so we got Kurt Cobain up there.
Oh, right, right.
Um, I don't know what else. So that would kind of do pretty well for me, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty good festival.
Yeah, like I'll buy a ticket for that one.
No, you're playing it, so you're there
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah.
Unless you'd rather not. I guess actually, sometimes like people that like if you're like a vendor at a festival and you have your table of wares, then you kind of have to work while you're there, and you don't get to see every band. So maybe you don't want
Which is every show and tour for me anyway, because it's like, I'm gonna stand there probably.
to.
That's just like kind of part of the whole day, really. But also, I think for a festival, it's kind of like it's a catch 22. It's like it's nice to have like a set at a certain time, but like play early, you can hang out more afterwards, which is kind of
Hmm.
good.
Okay, so what is a comfortable balance for you between the rock star who has curious fans and the private individual who doesn't want to share everything? Or another way to answer would be what's something that you love talking to your fans about? What's something you wish people would stop asking you?
Oh, okay. I'll address the first part of that initially. I think by the nature of Sonia, at least. I think the concept of the band is for me to be as open and out there as possible with it. So it's like I'm a very shy, very like introverted person. So like sort of like the band itself is me like trying to not be that way. Like that's what it is. Like so that's like my kind of process or fight or goal or whatever is to like make it that way. Like that's like the band is a vehicle for that in a sense for me. And like that's what it is. Like so it's like normally I'm it's like it's funny because it's like, oh, like if you're the singer of a band, you are going to be the center of attention. I'm usually not comfortable being the center of attention of a lot of people, but that's like what it is. So it's like, and I think even me being uncomfortable with that, I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting. Let's go with that too. Like that's just what it is. So it's like the I'm not necessarily comfortable with the dissolving of any boundary, but I think that it's sort of necessary in a certain way. And then there's like certain boundaries that have to be established. Like, okay, before the show, I need to like have space to get ready for the show, do the warm-ups, that kind of thing, get ready for the gig. Otherwise, I don't know. But then like, is that just something that's in your head? Maybe if you're, less secluded, maybe like, the show becomes more natural. So
Hmm.
it's a hard question to ask. Like I'm always, let me put it this way, I'm always uncomfortable no matter what. So I might as well, so I might as well just be around everybody.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
wait, so can you repeat the second part of it too? What was the second part of that?
What's something that you love talking with fans about? And what's something you wish that they would stop asking you?
Oh, I don't like talking about ex bands. It's just like, yeah, I don't like talking about my old bands or a particular old band that I was in, that I don't even want to bring up. So it's like, it's weird because I know like some people from that, so it's kind of like, uh, I can only just do what I do now and kind of not focus on that. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay, what do you love to talk to them about?
Um, this is funny, but I love talking about Manowar. It's just a band I like a lot. I think it's fun to like sing Manowar lyrics and just reference it. Um, it's funny for that to be a thing to love talking about. I don't know, just like music in general is fun to talk about. Sometimes people have mentioned bands that I check out that I think are good. Um, a lot of people come up or I mean like it's just like I become friends with a lot of people, but it's just like a lot of people that I talk to, it's just kind of like you know just sharing like stories of experiences that we've had that we can relate on. Like it's good. I mean, it's overwhelming though. It's like if it's like I want to be able like like I said, I'm like not like a super like give me attention type of person. So if there's a lot of people doing that, like I'm trying to balance that.
Hmm.
Hopefully, hopefully in a way that's adequate. But yeah,
Okay, so everybody that's going to see you play, remember to prepare a Man of War fun fact when they
yes,
want to introduce themselves. Present your Man of War fun fact.
that would be amazing.
That's why this question is here. I'm trying to foster the connection because I think that people bring a lot of excited energy to their to the shows and everything, and when it's a lot of people doing that and a lot of people trying to talk to you at once, or like some people right when they get done a set they want to go straight to the bar and have a beer and they don't want to talk to anybody yet. And
Uh,
oh, my Zoom is making instructions for me here. Anyway.
well, I do the same thing. Like if I see a band that I'm like stoked about, and if it's like whether it's my friend or whether it's just a band I don't, I'm like I just want to immediately go up to them and like talk to them about that. Like I feel that, we all feel that. So it's like I understand that. Like that's like a thing,
Yeah. And then it's like, I think the best resolution is to give the fans this opportunity to see how they can approach you in a way that is fun and comfortable and sincere. And I think it's good for the community to get these ideas
Yeah.
in front of us. And
Oh, totally. I mean, I absolutely need a little while after performing. Like performing is like a trance like experience for me no matter what. Whatever band I'm performing with, like I'm something is happening to me completely where it's like I can't like right when it's done, like I'm not there.
mm,
Like and I'm not there for a little while. I need
mm,
to like be somewhere else and then come back. And that's the thing that's a shame about sometimes whether it's being on tour or playing a show, it's like you do that, and then by the time you're ready, the time you like came back or whatever, it's gone, and like it's just like we're sleeping the floors and loading out or that kind of thing. So it's kind of like
mm,
finding the time to do that is one thing. Like
right.
it's because it's I think it's important. I think it's like a part of it. Like why would you want to just go be super isolated around everywhere? Like sense of community with everybody is like partially what it's about, I think.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I saw this um information about how like heartbeats line up with music, and like so everybody's hearts will beat at the same rhythm
It's
to certain
cool.
kinds of music. And so like definitely is about being around people and sharing literally energy with each other.
Yeah.
Um, so looking back, what was a big decision you made that turned out to be a great choice?
Um, I'm gonna say that every big decision I've ever made in my life has ended up being a great choice. And
Mm,
that's cool. Like I don't have anything like I wish I didn't do that major thing.
mm,
Um, based on, the situation in front of me and the things I had to deal with. So I think like, anytime I've had to like quit a job to go on tour, like, you come back to no job and like what are you gonna do for money or whatever. But like it's just like I've never regretted that really.
mm,
Like even when bad things happen, I've never had a decision like that would seemed wrong. Like I mean, you know, having to in my old band that I don't like to talk about as much. I mean, I'm always gonna have to talk about them. But like I was in a band for 8 years. I came out as trans to them, or that I was going to transition to them. And then the band, you know, it didn't work out with the band after that. And that was like my full-time, not only job, but like focus and everything like that. And so
mhm,
it's like, so that's like not a good thing, but it was
mhm.
also the right thing to say to them and to do. Like it's sort of like, it's just unfortunate that things would have had to be like that, but like, it's also like I said, any big decision I've ever had to go with, like, has always like kind of felt right. So
Yeah, doing that power pivot um, is always bittersweet, no matter what the reason for the change is. It's like, I mean, and every successful rock goddess had to do a power pivot. Like Joan Jett after the Runaways, Lita Ford, Tina Turner, blah 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 blah. You
yeah.
have
It's like you
it's
have
a
to like destroy completely and just like everything, like the whole your whole life and the entire world has to be completely like gone and against you and everything. And if you when you're there, what you do, what you're able to do there kind of determines your fate because that's going to happen.
absolutely. And like um it's like a rite of passage almost to have like the first project that you work the hardest on, or is like the one that like, you don't know what you're capable of yet. So it's very meaningful. Totally smashed and destroyed. Okay, now you can move
Yeah,
on, right? So
yeah.
but it's like yeah, I'm just out, or at least that's what I'm telling myself. It's a rite of passage. So then
No, it is. It is. I think it is. I mean, I think it's 100% the case. I mean, like, it's like that's where you see where the weaknesses or problems in the way things were are. Like, and sometimes you have no choice but to be in those situations in the first place. But then, like, there's things about them that you can kind of like be aware of or make not happen for future things, sort of thing. And like just like you need like you learn like an instinct, or you develop an instinct that you've had or an intuition on things where it's sort of like it's like you can you it's we're dealing with people. We're always dealing with people. So it's like, everybody's got their there's always a give and take when dealing with people. So it's kind of like learning how to navigate that better for sure. And that kind of dramatic event that Tina Turner and everybody else has done, and then had to have some audacity and just greatness to like push through that. I mean, that's like
Yeah, and
it's cool, you know? I mean, like,
yeah, one thing that I started to learn more, actually I learned it from someone I know who owns a creative business, and it's that people wait longer than they need to do the power pivot. And so it's like we know, like we can kind of sense it, the intuition's there, like the change is coming. We're like, no, no. And like
yeah,
really, you got to jump in with both feet and get to it
no,
because
that's totally true. Like I really felt in 2014 when Sonja started, right? I was in my other band and I could sense that there was something wrong with the band in general. And but like it kept going, and it was like, had no intention of it not going. So it's 2014. I got home, I started Sonja from that tour. But like it was like kind of like we're working on Sonja. It's not like, I have my other band and Sonja's there. So at least that got started, which is good, but it didn't become in front of everything. And then in 2017, where things fully collapsed, that's where it's like, okay, well, here's Sonja. That's what I got. So, um, it was good that I started them, but like I don't know if at that time like, I didn't really say like, I didn't stop doing that completely to focus on a completely new project. So
right, right.
in some ways, like, the way that things played out, like sort of forced me to put, you know, energy into Sonja. But I also had to take time for, personal. I had
The
to break
grieving.
down I had to break grieving, but I also had to break down every single thing about myself and like rework myself kind of. So, um, yeah, that's interesting. Like you stick with situations too long. People do that with relationships, with
Mm-hmm.
art,
And
with their life. It's
jobs.
like we
Yeah.
get so in a routine. So like again, that's where I'm gonna say back to the thing I said before. Anytime I've made like a bold move or a huge sacrifice for music, it's always been great. Like it's just kind of like going in and being like, I'm leaving, I'm going on tour. Like that's like crazy, especially if you don't have money. It's like I'm doing it. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
completely
It's
it's
fate.
bad for you in a way, but it's also kind of just like it's just like that's real living, I guess, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you're living on faith at that point. You're living on choosing to believe, you know? So, what does it feel like when your intuition is speaking to you?
I think that's something that has developed over time. I think, you maybe like you feel reminiscent of a previous situation and you can see something going. It's always with people. People is where intuition needs to come into play. Um, Kind of like it's experience. It's like having experience, like you have to go through experiences where you get like just screwed a lot and bad stuff happens because then you know how to deal with it because like the world is like that. People are always going to be like that. So it's like it's for me it's usually frustrating because my intuition usually means I have to be patient about something. Like it's usually a matter of don't act or don't jump into this thing. And it's frustrating because then it's like you're in this like sort of holding pattern in a way, but that's usually right. Although I do surround myself with a lot of people who are more active and people of action that like
Mhm.
push things in a good direction. So like I'm in a lot of collaborations where it's like this fire and ice type of thing, and I'm always ice. I'm usually ice.
Hmm.
I'm the one. I'm like I'm a Capricorn, right? So like Capricorn, Virgo, Virgo. So I'm very like
Oh.
think everything over and like like consider every possible thing, like run
Mm,
it all a certain way. Whereas like other people are like, what are we doing? Let's go. And I'm like, let's
mm,
think about it first. Like,
mm.
so I like overthink stuff, but it's usually good. Like I can't stop doing that because it typically like helps. It's the right way to do it, sort of.
Mm.
But a lot of times, intuition can also be like, it's time to act. Like time, it's being aware of timing. Like timing is very much a thing. Like it's kind of like, okay, the time to strike is now, even though we're not ready. Like you kind of just have to take all things in and like make your internal calculation of how to be. That's just sort of what it's like.
Yeah, it sounds like you're good at avoiding perfectionist traps.
Right, yeah.
Because
As
like
long as
the
it's real, I want things to be real expression. Like real expression, it's flawed, it's human, it's just like it is what it is. Like I want things to be good. Like, me and my bandmates always want to like have stuff that sounds really good, but like perfection doesn't sound good. Perfection is just machines. Like when it has to be human.
Mm.
Totally.
Yeah, that's actually a very true fact. There was like a study done with the way that people's brains react to drum machines with their exact timing and the way that they react to even a very, very good drummer with great timing. And it's just more interesting to for it to be real and not perfect.
That's why I'm so hyper focused on like old music because like it was just recorded differently. Like it's just like it sounds like people. Like so much stuff doesn't sound like people. It's
Mm,
just really hard, and it's like it's a constant fight to maintain your humanity through it all, really.
yeah.
Musically too.
Yeah. And it's like nowadays, like I think even pop music doesn't know what it's doing anymore. I think that even that's confused. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we've like formalized this so much that gosh, that like people don't even want to hear it. You can't even be like a big pop star anymore. I mean, like you can play big shows, but like Miley Cyrus when she did her Bangers tour, she didn't make any money. She broke even. I think that's a perfect
Due to low
example.
attendance or just due to expenses? Like, I mean,
Oh, I guess it was more expenses because she wanted every show to be like really, really over the top, like a circus. And then I don't think, I mean, I really liked her rock album that she did. I mean, she did that for like a minute and then she went back to pop. But I don't think that it was like commercially super successful for her. And anyway, yeah, I mean, if Miley Cyrus can release an album that's not commercially successful, I don't think that, I don't know. The other thing is like when it comes to art and all of the arts, uh, to have a meaningful life is much more important to my mental health than a commercially successful album.
right,
So
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm on a tangent now. All right. So what's your favorite gear and your favorite stage wear?
Oh, okay. Um, Favorite gear. It's funny because like we use the term gear to describe our stage wear. It's like, oh, I like your night gear. That's what we say when, about your wearing. Day gear is what you're wearing during the get day. Night gear is what you're wearing on stage. Um, Both important. So for stage stuff, I mean, I've been enjoying wearing white a lot with Sonja, and then when CrossFitter plays, I'm wearing black. I made most of my own stuff in CrossFitter, so it's like I like have a ton of wooden crosses that I just literally drilled holes in the bottom of them to like attach like clips or safety pins to that I just have on my skirt. So just like a million upside down crosses that I drilled. Um, and I like that. It's fun. It's funny. Anytime I'm going around a venue, like they fall off sometimes. So it's just like I'm a upside down cross elemental, just leaving
Yes,
upside down
yes.
crosses
You're sort
everywhere
of
I
like
go.
leaving pixie dust and rose
Yeah,
petals behind you.
just
They're just upside down crosses.
just dropping blasphemy and desecration everywhere.
But in like
Um,
a fairy way.
yeah,
Love it.
absolutely, absolutely. That's kind of the idea of it. So that that's something that it was fun to make that and conceptualize that. Because I'm like, okay, what the hell am I gonna do for this band? Like we're gonna be savage on stage, but um, it's gotta it's everything I just don't want it to be something that I've seen or heard before. Like, not that anything I've seen or heard before is bad, but it's just like I feel like that's how you're gonna like connect, like to create
Mm,
something new, to just cut through the veil, sort of like,
mm,
and then
mm.
like then it's like okay, then what do you do next kind of thing. But like that was cool to do. In terms of musical gear, I'm very bad with gear. Like I suck with gear. I can't get
Everybody
a
says
good
that.
sound. Yeah.
Everybody says that.
Like I play other people's setups. I'm like, wow, this sounds amazing. I'll buy exactly what you have. I don't even care. But then it's like I feel like it's not gonna be as good if I get it. Like I need someone else to set up my stuff. I will do any I'll yeah. Um but I do like the amp that I just got, the EVH 5150 EL34, which I CrossSpitter played a show with Arthur Rizik's band, Eternal Champion, and he had that
Mm,
amp, and I borrowed it. I was like, dude, this is the shit. So I just bought the same exact amp. I'm like, this is better than what I have. Like, this is what I need to do. Very hard for me to get gear. People are like, get this, get that, but I'm like, I don't believe that it's going to be good. So many
mm,
times I've ever used gear, it's been bad. So it's like,
mm.
I'll get it, but like, I just don't think it's going to be good, and I'm not going to get something I don't think it's going to be good. If I'm convinced that something's going to sound good, I will do whatever I have to get that piece of equipment.
Yeah, just keep your receipts. Return it if you don't like it. I got like the master list of all of the recommended gear from the other rock goddesses if you ever want to see it. There's
Okay,
there's
okay.
just one microphone that is like for everybody apparently. See if I can pull it up real quick here. Oh my gosh. Why can't I ever remember what it's called? Wireless. Ah. Mm. Doop-a-doo. It's the Wireless Shure 87C.
Okay, so it's wireless.
So what everybody loves about that is that it never has problems with like jumping off and on of Bluetooth at venues,
Oh,
which is probably the most important thing for it to do as a function.
that you really can't have that even 0.001% of the time. That's just not,
Yeah.
you can't have anything that does that. No,
I've
yeah.
only one person ever said that that happened once, and it happened at Underground Arts here in Philly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So don't take your wireless Shure 87C to Underground Arts in Philly. Uh,
Interesting.
just plug it in there.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Insider scoops. All right. So when you hit the inevitable flaming hoop in the circus, like the van loses a wheel or your drummer breaks their foot, um, or something gets delayed, what helps you keep your spirit up?
Oh, when like bad stuff happens. I think just like a sense of destiny and just like obsession with just making it happen. Like, that stuff has always happened. Like, I try to plan for as many contingencies as possible. And I honestly, the thing that makes it work, I'm very lucky to have a bandmate and my drummer who's in CrossSpitter and Sonja that is like will never let anything not happen. Like if some he'll go to the ends of the earth to find a solution, as will I. But it's just good for that to be the mentality. Like never have a defeatist mentality about anything ever, no matter what. It's just kind of like nothing. It just feels like nothing can stop us. Sort of. It's just it's like, damn, this happened. It's like, well, what do we got to do? Like, there's never just self-pitying or anything like that. It's just like, what do we got to do? It's like, it's always been like that, which is just a great thing. Like, like, self-pity is just something we don't experience, which is awesome. So it's like, it's just got to be done. Whatever
Yeah, it's
happens.
refreshing to hear somebody express courage like that because I just like, yeah, I just really appreciate that. Having some bravery. The destiny again is another moment of choosing to believe, and
It's like,
it's just
why
nice.
not feel that way? Like you like everything is total chaos, right? Why not just choose a destiny and like adhere to it? Like, why not? Like,
Absolutely,
it's better than
absolutely,
not. It's just as meaningless or meaningful as you want it to be or not.
absolutely. It's just like it's all just a bunch of like I don't know atoms buzzing around, and it's our perceptions that turn it into anything at all. And so it's like, choose your outlook, choose your attitude, choose to
You kind of do
believe.
whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, do whatever you want. You know what? Nobody even needs to like it except you anyway. So be weird about it. Just be authentic. And for God's sake, women, can you just believe that you're beautiful? If I have to hear one more of you say that you're not beautiful, I had to like,
there's a lot of competing messages in society that make us all feel that, just, I
yeah.
mean, like, we're
I
just
mean, not that
bombarded
that's
with
like
it.
the most, I don't mean like physically beautiful, but like a being that is beautiful and everything, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, um, what's a performance memory that you'll never forget?
Um, Performance memory. I don't have a lot of performance memories with my current incarnation of life, and that's because it's so demanding of my mind and body and soul to do the performance that I really don't have that much ability to perceive the moment. Like I think
Uh,
about like a killer fest that we just did in Germany, and I'm like, that was awesome. People were stoked. I think we played good. My bandmates are happy. The sound was good. But I'm just like, I don't remember it. Like I don't really like watch too much footage unless I'm analyzing like, oh, how are we hitting the vocal harmonies, like that kind of thing, or what do I need to work on? But so when I watch stuff, I'm like, all right, that's good. I don't necessarily remember it though.
mm,
Like it's like I try to like analyze like stuff to be like, oh, like I like that. I want to push that. Like, and I want to feel it though. It's like any practice or any preparation is so I can feel it. So when I'm performing, I'm feeling it, and it's doing the vocals and playing the guitar and like trying to just make it all work. Like we're still pretty new, honestly. So it's like it's still kind of coming together for us to the point where it's just kind of like diving in and like total like intensity the whole time and then coming out the other side and it's just like that was just insane. Now like next thing, but it's like there's never been time to kind of ponder like this is really cool. Like I haven't
mm,
really been able to do that yet. People are always
mm.
like, how do you feel about like how people react to the band? And it's like I don't have that capacity yet. Like I sort of have like blinders of like I just am trying to do it. I think over time I'll be able to notice stuff more, but right now it's like intense like that. I guess a cool memory is like um
Well, just to think about that, that's like the other edge of the sword of mindfulness and remaining present all the time. Like, if no matter what it is, if it's like, if you're like really intense about being present all the time, it does make it very hard to process things as they pass. And and then you're not, if you're really present, then you're also not focusing on like what comes next. You're like, I'm here today, this morning I'm doing this. And it's like if you do that every morning and afternoon and night and everything, it doesn't leave any processing room. Like we do need to dwell on our feelings sometimes. It's like the other side of mindfulness is no memory.
yeah. And it but it's like, it's like that for the performance. It's like it seems like it needs to be like that at this point, just just to make it happen. That's how it feels.
Hmm. So after a long day of recording, touring, or working out all the kinks, how do you like most to practice self-care?
Okay, so if we're on tour, there's a couple things we do. When we're in the hotel room or we're crashing at someone's house or whatever, if we're together or even alone, we usually listen to Time Wave Zero when we're going to sleep. It's like kind of like this thing where it's like I can't wait till we're at the hotel listening to Time Wave if it's been after loading out or if unless we're like going out or something, which we're usually too busy to do that. That's awesome. We love focusing on finding good juice places or smoothie places, trying to be healthy, that kind of thing. It's just like super busy. It's like I'm a person that very much likes to party. But and I want to incorporate that more into the touring life. But like what we're doing right now, it kind of really requires like so much work and energy and like self-maintenance and that kind of thing. That like we just have to like I want nutrients and like not carbs, that's like kind of what we want
Mm-hmm,
usually.
mm-hmm.
Um, so really like small things like that because it's not like we're gonna be like drinking or like doing tons of drugs or anything like that. We can't. And then like we just want the show to go well. Like that's kind of how it is. Getting rest, it never seems like there's enough rest, but like that's just how it goes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. So do you have any other new announcements for us?
Well, Sonja is writing our album right now. CrossSpitter is almost finishing an album. My new band Lezu has a finished recording, so just things with the bands, that's gonna be coming from me, I guess, in the near future.
And where can everybody follow what you do and hear your music?
We have, well, CrossSpitter and Sonja are on Bandcamp. We're on Spotify. Sonja's on YouTube. Sevlizu is new. It's not out yet. I have an Instagram, Donna Violence. That's where I talk about music stuff. Sonja has an Instagram. Both are linked to Facebook profiles. It's old school, but it's like also a lot of people like around the world. That's their way of communicating as well
Yeah.
too. Um, I haven't like fully like jumped into like the newer stuff, but I might do that, like the newer
Oh,
platforms.
oh
I just
yeah.
don't know. I don't want to like build something up that's like pointless and like useless. So like I don't know.
And it's so much work. And like the algorithm already changed. That ship sailed. I don't even bother with the TikTok. I don't want to get on TikTok. I don't like the idea of it getting into my brain. So
Yeah, yeah,
just like, you know what? We got enough. Okay. We got YouTube, we got Instagram, link to the Facebook. All right. So
yeah,
we
yeah.
finish every episode with the same game. It is the vinyl game. I'm going to hold up two pieces of vinyl and you will pick one that you want to say something about or ask a question about.
Okay.
So Tina Turner or Cherry Vanilla?
Okay. Tina Turner is a badass and I love her. I don't know Cherry Vanilla. What's the deal with that?
Okay. Cherry Vanilla kind of has blondie qualities to it, but it incorporates more rock piano. So it's a little bit like meatloafy.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cherry Vanilla. All right.
Yeah.
That's
My favorite.
introducing it to me.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I think that Blondie maybe even covered a Cherry Vanilla song or something. Came out of the same rock scene in New York as Blondie and um uh can't think of the other one right now. But yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. All right, next one. Hoaxed or Pat Benatar?
Pat Benatar rules. Hook. Again, I need a description on that one.
For
I don't know.
sure. This is like
Yeah.
the best way to learn about these. Hoaxed is a
Yeah.
three-piece all-girls doom band out of Portland, Oregon. The bassist, Prilzor, she is also the singer and bassist of Soul Grinder, and she's filling as the bassist for a couple of shows with Unto Others.
Oh, awesome. I might have seen their logo before.
Yeah, they're
Kind of
cool.
does look familiar.
Okay. Bonnie Tyler or Burning Witches?
Bonnie Tyler. I love the pick. Like
The back is so like Frank Herbert. What is this? What is going on here?
anytime it's just like somebody's face is the album cover, that's just like such a bold thing. It's like King Diamond Conspiracy kind
Yeah.
of.
It's there's so many album covers where it is just the face too. But I don't know. It's like a selfie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And okay, and then Sweat out of Pittsburgh or Jinx Dawson's Coven.
Um, Coven, I actually saw them in Milwaukee maybe 2 years ago, and I thought it was incredible. Like she was so awesome. The band was really good. It's very captivating. It was very awesome. Like it's cool to see them play now, and it like ruled.
Yeah,
Very awesome.
I actually like this is awesome, right? Like this is really cool. Then it occurred to me like what it would be like if I actually tried to do that photo shoot and like lay down naked on an altar with my band around me and take a picture.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that Jinx was, you know, really powerful lady when I was
Yeah,
there.
it's like you have to make that decision and then you have to do it and you have to make it good, you know?
And
Like
then
it's just like were you doing
circulate
stuff like
copies
that
of it.
before, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Circulate copies of it. I mean, maybe she's just like the like OG OnlyFans girl or something, or
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
OG Suicide Girl. Um, okay. Then last set, Blondie or Shaka Khan.
Blondie is more what I listen to. Shaka Khan, I would if we were there and it's like which one should I put on? I would say the Shaka Khan just to do something that I don't do as often, you know?
Shaka Khan did more rock music with Rick Wakeman, the keyboardist of Yes. Um, there's this um, there's an album called 1984, and Rick Wakeman's known for using multiple singers, two or three different people on an album, which always makes his albums really fun to listen to. And so 1984 has Shaka Khan's voice on it, and I liked her music because of Through the Fire that Stevie Wonder composed. But um, when I heard her with Rick Wakeman, who's really like one of my favorite musicians, I was like, oh, that is so great. I love that it's Shaka Khan and Rick Wakeman. But yeah, Blondie. They have a new album coming out. I'm friends with the
Uh,
guitarist, and he said that it's already finished. It's just not
Cool.
out. They're not advertising it yet. So we got the scoop right here.
Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today, Melissa.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you around town.
Yeah, I'll see you around.
Bye.
Bye.